between the interest rate and the inflation in the United States. While the inflation is at around 8%, the interest rate has only been recently increased and is on around 0.25%. These are very low numbers and very big gaps. This happened in the past around the 1940s. In these cases, countries usually try to be more secure and to shift into gold, to shift into commodities and less in the more risky assets. Recently also, Saudi Arabia has agreed to potentially accept the Chinese yuan in return for oil. There are some major changes, so if China moves up and becomes the superpower instead of the United States, well, it happens in the past, but when there were such shifts in the superpower, there was always a big war because the first country to be the superpower does not really allow and tell the other country, yes, you can now be the superpower. They usually have some issues around it. We are currently beginning to see some kind of a commodity crisis. Why has this happened? This has happened because China today provides the labor to the world. Russia provides many of the resources, such as they have nickel mines, aluminium, and platinum. The rest of the countries did not really develop, except for maybe Brazil, which also provides nickel mines. And the USA provides the capital. So we have China with labor, Russia with the resources, and the United States with the capital. But this means that we have a single point of failure. We can have a single point of failure in the labor or in the resources or in the capital. Is it going to be always on? Are we always going to get labor for China? I don't think so, because recently we've seen with what's happening in the world that Russia is the big provider of resources. Is it always on? No. Now it's not on. It's off. So it's not really a resilient, scalable architecture of the world of having one country provide one resource. And the inflation is not dead at all. It has really increased in the recent years. And we have all these supply chain problems. So the fact that we were thinking that we are living in a resilient universe is only maybe an illusion. We have spread the responsibilities into multiple servers, multiple countries, but each country is in power of a single resource, and this is not a resilient design. So we traded resiliency to a cheap workforce. This does not sound like a good idea. We thought that we are always going to get the cheap work for China, and we thought that we are always going to get resources from Russia. But now we see that the situation is different, and we do have a single point of failure. Because once countries that are cooperating one with another are becoming enemies, then this is the stop. This is the break of the cooperation. And we know we had a few such periods the last time that we had a very similar period with big inflation, with low cooperation in between continents and countries, with low interest rate and with the bank trying to do its best. Increasing the interest rate. This was in the 1940s, and now we also have a war. So it's all coming together. Inflation, war, viruses, all coming together in 2022. We need to be more resilient. We need to learn from software developer how to build resilient economy such that when there is trouble, then we are not solely dependent on another country for for crops and for food. Because if we find ourselves, if one country finds itself solely dependent on another country, then when the relations go down, they won't have this resource, and this is not resilient. That was for the unresilient architecture of the world right now.